Yeah, just buckle up and pray. We're coming to a climax.
Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to today's Take 5. We have Polny and Andrew Sorchini with us again, talking about gold, silver, the world, the finances, prophecy. We just came back off from Wednesdays with Julie Green. Very explosive. If you missed that, go back and see that, because this will tie in, I'm sure, to the conversation we'll have with Bo and Andrew about God's money, silver, and gold. Let's play the clip from President Trump.
25% steel and aluminum, because that's where we were. Remember, so I'd say there's three buckets to think about. There's things that are necessary for America and its safety. That would be steel and aluminum. We've got to have a steel and aluminum industry here in America to protect us for national security, right? You can't be at a war and not make steel. You can't have some other country supply your steel if, God forbid, you need it for a war. Autos. We need to have auto manufacturing here in America. It's very important to us. Pharmaceuticals, semiconductors. These are vital things for America, and he is focused on them. Then that's number one. Then we have reciprocal tariffs. That's number two, which says let's create fairness in the world. Since 1945, we have been exporting the power of our economy to everyone in the world. They have high tariffs, and we have low tariffs. And having a little fairness would seem reasonable. So that starts April 2nd. We're going to start having reciprocal tariffs, fairness, right? And then we're going to do bilateral trading deals with each of the countries who want to work with us. And let's see if we can make it better. Unleash our farmers, unleash our ranchers. You won't believe the nonsense that I've had to read. India, the prime minister comes and visits, brags about his 1.4 billion people, won't let us sell a bushel of corn. And think of the stuff they sell here. You gotta be kidding.
How are you going to convince manufacturers to bring factories back to the U.S. if you don't show them consistency, that you have a tariff plan and it's not going to change tomorrow or the next day, but it's a well thought out plan and it's going to remain in place?
Donald Trump said from the beginning, reciprocal tariffs. How you treat us is how we will treat you. What people don't understand.
But then he said it's all open for negotiation, and if somebody brings him a deal, he might pull it off.
No. Reciprocal tariffs are the baseline. And the countries of the world, like Europe, has a 20% VAT. 20%. So we pay 20%. You know how many cars, American cars, we sell in Europe or in Korea or Japan? Try buying a Chevrolet in Germany. We all have Mercedes and BMW and Volkswagen. Oh, those are everywhere. But American car over there, Nope, they block us on non-tariff trade barriers, subsidies. They just keep us out, and Donald Trump is going to unleash that. So what's going to happen is, you don't want to pay that tariff? Come on, build it here. You're seeing TSMC, 100 billion, Apple, 500 billion, SoftBank, 200 billion, right? OpenAI, 500 billion. These companies are going to build in America.
Now we have Bo and Andrew. That's a good way to kick off with the tariffs, everything happening April 2nd. I just found out, too, that the Coinage Act was done on April 2nd, 1792. Some say there might be some significance to that in silver. Interesting. April 2nd may be a big day. Welcome, both.
Thank you. You know, you were just referencing the video. You've said several times April 2nd. This is wild because there's a Kim Clement prophecy that I believe we've played on the show before, but we might want to play it again. And it talks about the 70 to 100th day. So this is interesting. Kim Clement, so God speaks through Kim Clement, and what did he say? That the spirit of Pythos will be destroyed in America between the 70th and the 100th day, beginning, and the starting point was January 21. So if you run 70 days from January 21, you got April 1st. So the day before this tariffs coming out on the 2nd, the Kim Clement prophecy of 2013, was that 12 years ago, talked about this time point, April 1st, April 2nd. This goes back 12 years, and specifically the 70 to 100th day, if we want to put the prophecy an hour later, is the entire month of April. So April 1 is day 70, and then day 100 would be May 1. And he specifically was stating the spirit of Pythos would be destroyed in America. Pythos is what? The bondage that the United States and the world has been under. So the bondage spirit begins to be destroyed in America. That's all I got to say. So, you know, it's amazing how prophecy is now meeting reality.
And you throw that on the heels of the last 2 days, significant events have happened to bring that spirit of Pythos down. One is the releasing, President Trump said yesterday, of Crossfire Hurricane. Everybody's going to be held accountable to that. That information's coming out. Alex Jones was reporting yesterday, I believe from the same source I have, that the Epstein files have been sent to all the FBI agents throughout the country. As I think we talked about last time you guys came on, one of the concerns they had with the Epstein files coming is the connection to Wall Street and bringing down the market. So those things are about to happen. So lining up pretty close with April 2nd.
Can I add this, and then Andrew can jump in? But I wanted to say this. Go back to listen to the prophecy we did just 2 weeks ago. We played Kent Christmas, and this is very important. Kent Christmas had a prophecy of 2020, and it said in the next 7 days. So the prophecy was on the 19th of March. In the next 7 days, Babylon's about to get a mortal wound. So that takes us to today. So today ends the 7 days from the 19th. And just yesterday, this FBI stuff, and God said, I'm not telling you what it's going to be, but let's see what happens here the next day or 2 or 3. But if Alex Jones is correct, then that information that God released from the Epstein stuff is going to be the mortal wound to Babylon. And that would fulfill the Kent Christmas prophecy from 2020 that's saying Babylon gets a mortal wound. What that is, a mortal wound, by the very simple definition, it's a death blow you can't recover from. Mm-hmm. So something happens, that a blow hits these people that no matter what they do, they will not be able to recover from it. And ultimately, a mortal wound means it kills you. So it's a death blow they can't recover from, and then ultimately it leads to their death. So if this ties in with Epstein, wow.
And you throw it even to blow your mind even more. What Julie Green's prophecy she just did on His Glory, 30 minutes ago, around John Roberts and being exposed in the Supreme Court, which ties the Boasberg, the FISA court, Crossfire Hurricane. All of this is connected to the financial system. It's just absolutely amazing.
Lots Andrew, going on. What's gold doing in silver? Because all I see is it keep going up.
Yeah, it's been really, really exciting. It's we've got people like coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, I bought silver from you like 5 years ago, and I'm realizing that it's up quite a bit. Like, what's my account worth? And they're actually quite pleased to see that silver has gone from like $18 an ounce to like $33 an ounce, and almost $34 today at one point. So it's been an exciting time. And I just wanted to comment on what Pastor Dave mentioned about the Coin Act of 1792. That's absolutely true. That's when dollars and cents as we know them today first began. And every now and then I see old silver dollars from 1792, 1793. I've had a couple of them before. They're quite valuable. Those are what the people here in America used, like in the East Coast when everything first started. They're really amazing piece of history. But Bo always mentions that no currency lasts forever, and those have lasted for a pretty long time. It's almost 235 years, and it's interesting to see that that's all coming to an end as we start to go to a digital type currency that's going to be gold backed. So it's a nice little walk down memory lane. But before 1792, we used a colonial currency, and the colonial currency that we used from like 1776 to 1792 were a mix of like British pounds and British shillings and pence that were brought from the UK to America. And we also used the Spanish dollar and coins of like Portuguese origin. So those were all made of gold and silver. So it's ironic that that's kind of what we're going back to.
Andrew, if you can just continue you talked about the movement so far. Can you expand upon what happened in November of the year 2022 with silver and gold? Because that was the bottom one.
Yeah.
Not so. Expand upon what happened then. And I did a chart especially for this podcast today with silver, gold, copper, and Bitcoin. And I want to show everybody because I think we started doing these podcasts, I think in 2021 or 2022. And again, those who've listened to us, you're going to see, how right we have been. But go ahead and talk about November of the year 2022.
Yeah, so I remember it like it was yesterday. There was a day that you had reached out to me right after we'd finished a recording with Pastor Dave, and you said, I would like to go ahead and make another investment into the 1 ounce silver Austrian Philharmonics coins. And the reason why you went with those at that time is that a silver eagle at that point cost about $15 to $18 above the price of silver. So if you were to Google back then, the spot price for 1 ounce of silver, it was $18.50, but a silver eagle would cost you potentially $36 an ounce to buy 1 ounce. The premium was so sky high, and the reason for that is that right before that is when the mystery woman bought $50 million worth of silver and just completely depleted the immediate silver market as far as the physical assets go. And this was probably one of the Walmart heirs. That's kind of what the rumor is. So $50 million wiped out the available supply at almost exactly the same time that silver had bottomed out. And I've since researched to see what the exact low was, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that it actually was under $18 an ounce at one point. And I think it was like possibly September or October of that same year. So those final 3 to 4 months of 2022 were like kind of like the true base right before the blast off. And here we are sitting at $33.75 an ounce for 1 ounce of silver. But the beauty of it now is that the premium of what it costs to buy silver is significantly lower than it was before. So it's still a great time to add more gold and silver to what you have.
And so with all that said, the comment that we made specifically was October into November. November specifically was the starting point of the bull market for the next years to come. So tell me that we weren't right. Look at this chart. What are we looking at? We are literally looking at November, the year 2022. So let's look. Bitcoin dropped down to 15,000. Silver dropped down to just under $18. Gold dropped down to $1,600. And then copper went down to $3.20 range. So what I want the viewers to see here, this is really exciting because we've basically, copper just this month confirmed the breakout. Okay, so what happened? The first coin, like we said, if this were a racetrack, the first horse out of the gates is Bitcoin. Well, we saw Bitcoin break out in February of the year 2024. It broke through 50,000, hasn't looked back. The second one was gold. When we say gold's number two, well, a month later, in March of 2024, gold finally made a new all-time high, broke above 2,100, and it hasn't looked back. The third coin was actually the month later, April of 2024. Silver finally broke above $25, and it hasn't looked back. And finally, the last coin was this month of March 2025. We saw copper break through $4.80, and it's now embarking on a new bull market, and it's about to go crazy. The point I'm trying to make is, as exciting as, people like, everybody keeps looking at gold all the time. Oh, gold's up at $3,000. It's up so much, and silver hasn't moved. Are you kidding me? Gold's, since November, gold's up 85%. Silver is actually higher. It's up 88% since November. So in other words, silver is matching the performance of gold. It's just there were smaller numbers, and so people were not watching it as closely, but it's moved up as much as gold has. If anything, it's gone up 3% higher than gold since November of the year 2020. And so again, Bitcoin's up 400%, over 400%. Copper's just getting going here. It's up $5.57%. What I'm trying to show here is that this is the bull market that started, what we said, in November of the year 2022. That was the start of this bull market, and anybody who's been buying all along the way and following what Andrew, Pastor Dave, and myself have been doing, everybody is in some degree of profits, and depending how early you bought. And this is the icing on top. This hasn't even started yet. This is about to break out to a degree that's going to go, first off, damages sevenfold, and then it goes biblical into year end, which is 36 into next year. This is going to be the greatest price explosion in human history. That's what's about to happen. So as exciting as these numbers are, we haven't even seen the gold and silver, because silver is just about to break free. When it takes out $35, $40, it's going to go, like I said, this is the year of Jubilee. It's going to go. Barry Winch was on Pastor Dave's show, and Barry Winch said that the year of Jubilee, silver blows through $50. So it's going to blow through 40, 50, goes, in my opinion, it's going to go right around to about $70, $68 to $70 in a single day. And this only starts the greatest bull market in human history. So I just wanted everybody to see that. And Andrew, give us your take on what you just saw there. But how cool is that if you look at the big picture?
It is really cool. And it's like, I love to see that because the numbers don't lie. I mean, you're looking at charts that can be verified. People can hit pause, take a screenshot, and search on the internet and just double check in 10 different places whether or not that's true. And you'll find that it is. And I also know it's true that I recently went to an event over at Clay Clark's office where he had like Eric Trump there and Robert Kiyosaki, and it actually was pretty cool because before I could even get to my seat, exactly 6 different people or groups of people stopped me to say, hey, I'm a client. I bought silver from you, or I bought gold from you. Greatest move I ever did. Thank you. You're doing good work. And I love that because to me, sometimes this gets a little monotonous and it feels like, like it's a job, and you forget that you're out there helping people. And it's only through that interaction that you really find out that you are. So it's been amazing what has happened here with gold and silver. We're not surprised at it at all. It's we've been carrying this message for a while. We know where it's headed. And I just want to throw out something out there. Like there's a guy that's an owner of another gold company that is a good personal friend of mine. And he owned one of the Magnificent Seven stocks in the stock market a long time ago. He sold it before the magic happened. If he had it now, he would have made millions of dollars on that investment. And he's always kicking himself. And every time we have that conversation, I'm just like, well, why don't you just go back in and buy some now. And if he had listened like years ago when I said, it's okay that you sold it, but you can get back in. And he just never got back in. And that relates to precious metals in that, like I bought gold this week. Okay. I've also have gold that I bought at $1,300 an ounce, $1,700 an ounce, $1,800 an ounce. And now the gold this week was over $3,000 an ounce. And it doesn't bother me at all because it's not the entry point that matters so much. It's where you think that investment is headed. So for my friend that was kicking himself for selling the stock too early, who cares? If you believe in the company, then you think that company is going to rise above all the other ones, then just get in. It's like Bo says all the time, if you're on the sidelines, you're not in the game. And with gold and silver, it's the same way. Both Bo and I and Pastor Dave have invested in more gold and silver as it's gone up. And we're not too worried with our initial lower entry prices. Of course, we do wish that we bought more, but you need time to go by to accumulate the asset or the cash to be able to convert that into gold and silver. So I personally think that once I back what Bo said, once silver goes past $40 an ounce, it's really going to go flying. I base that on what happened in 2011 when it's like when the guy hits a ball in baseball into the gap and it rolls to the back wall and you see him turn in second base and he's charging toward third, you know he's just going to go home. I feel like silver at $40 is turning the third base and heading home. And from there, to me, the sky is the limit. Gold, I think that we're seeing so many articles now about the possible revaluation of gold. In my mind, and where I think it's headed very conservatively, is probably the $4,000 to $5,000 range. But this could take time. This could take years. It might not. It could take months. I don't know. None of us really know. But I'm confident parking it there, letting it sit there for years, because it also doubles as the insurance policy for all of my other investments. When stocks or cryptocurrency aren't doing good, gold and silver are doing good, and vice versa. So you need to have a portion of your portfolio in precious metals as an insurance policy.
Yeah, and even going forward, with the economy changing and what President Trump is about to do, could come as soon as April 2nd. Who knows? But silver and gold will be part of our system. It will be a crypto component to this, and you have to have some of your stock instead of stocks just be diversified into silver and gold. It's a must going forward. We'll be right back after this.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
All right, we're going to play the video. Which one was it, Bo? The 70 today?
70 to 100 days, yeah.
70, 100 day. Let's play the video of 70 and 100 day.
I saw a python, and God said, between the 70 and 100 days, it shall begin, the strangulation and the destruction of this will begin, and it is going crazy. It is manifesting throughout America because it is dying. Now, you may not understand spiritual warfare and Diablo and Satan and demons and darkness, but it waits for an attraction, it waits for an invitation. And as I've said, there's been great division. But also it was spoken of that beginning January 21st, there would be a period in between 70 and 100 days, the spirit of Pythos will be destroyed if the people act accordingly. This spirit is doing its utmost to destroy as many states as possible. Make its mark. It'll be leaving. I wore this purposefully. It's the gold. He spoke to me about watching the gold as a sign.
Some of you have said, where is the God of Elijah? Some of you have cried, where is the God of Elijah? Some of you have said, why do I feel that I cannot breathe? Feel like I'm dying. He said, where is God of Elijah? Where is the God of Samuel, Moses, David? Giving you the keys, says the Lord, to unlock the treasure chest. Everybody listen, what is inside? Treasure of the Lord. Listen now. Resurrection. Listen to me. Resurrection. And miracles like you've never seen. The spirit of suffocation is coming to an end. You believe it? Shout, 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 shout.
Amazing.
So 70 to 100 days, 70 days starts April 1. Andrew was talking about $4,000 gold. There are triggers and stops on precious metals, silver, and gold. My opinion, and I believe if these CME stops are hit, every 5 minutes, silver goes $3. It will jump $12 and then 15 to 20 after that. So that could take it easily into the $68, $70 in a single day. If that happens, gold's got 4 stops at $100. It's going to go 100, 100, 100, 4 times $400, and it'll do at least 600 plus. That'll be 1,000 in a single day. So, being conservative, sure, it could take a year. Absolutely. It's like you always want to be conservative, but we've shown you the charts. It's going up regardless. Okay. But if this event goes down here, spirit of Pythos is removed. Okay. We could see gold jump $1,000+ in a single day, taking it straight through $4,000. Okay. So spirit of Pythos is the manipulation spirit that's been bonded across humanity, but also manipulating the price of precious metals, keeping gold at the 3,000 level when Bitcoin's at $87,000. You see what I'm saying? It's just gold's been around a heck of a lot longer than Bitcoin. So why is Bitcoin at 87,000? And the money supply went from the 70s and the millions to the quadrillions now. There are so many zeros added. We don't even know how many zeros are added, and because the money supply is just crazy what's going on. And I want to bring up an interesting thing the Lord showed me here, and I want to show this chart. I'm sure we all recall what happened in April. Specifically, the exact date was April 20th in the year 2020. Now, this is very interesting because I did several podcasts in January and February saying, I have no idea what's going to happen. Again, this is not about me taking glory or I just want the world to understand the biblical perfection here, okay? God's timing. So Trump is elected. He wins the election on November 8th, 2016. When you run Daniel 12, verse 7, it says, it shall be for time, times, and a half a time. That's specifically, if we look on the white calendar there, it basically shows you that's 1,260 days. 1,260 days from Trump getting elected is precisely April 20th. What a coincidence. Because it's not. You see, it's not possible for Trump getting elected. 1,260 days to the exact day, we see oil drop. It didn't go to zero. This is the weird part. Maybe Andrew can later expand upon this. But how does oil go to negative $38 a barrel? That's like silver going to negative $30. That means they're going to pay you $30 to take an ounce of silver. It's not possible, but it went negative $38. This is the weirdest glitch in human history, but it did it. Okay. And all I know is that this is very interesting. God said you got to start counting there because this is a biblical, because remember the petrodollar? The petrodollar backs it, the dollar itself was backed by petro at the time. But then just last year, in June, Saudis refused to back that petrodollar contract. So now the petrodollar is basically null and void. It's only fiat. It's not attached to oil anymore. But this is the weird part. So if you do 5 years to the exact day from April 20th, guess what you get? April 20th, 2025. Well, why is that weird? Because God showed me something. He goes, look at a clock. How many minutes are in a clock? 60 minutes. So he goes, remember, a day is about 1,000 years. So 60 minutes, replace it with months, 60 months. So right now, I'm telling you, there are hours or days left for what we're just talking about, the explosion of gold and silver. Kim Clement said, watch the gold. We are, I believe, by the end of, we could see on the 31st of this month, or maybe April 1st, April 2nd, as we're stepping into that 70-day window, we could see silver go to $70, $68, $70. Gold go to $4,000. Again, the spirit of Pythos is about to be removed. And so if we look at months, 59 minutes, the 59th minute is the 59th month from April, which is March. And so that takes us to the midnight hour. The midnight hour specifically would be April 20th of the year 2025, this year. And lo and behold, what did Kim Clement just say? He goes, watch what? Resurrection. Go watch the prophecy. He literally said, watch resurrection. So oil goes to negative $38 a barrel, 60 months to the absolute, not only like a week, to the absolute exact day is April 20th, 2025, which just coincidentally, because Pastor Dave will tell you there are no coincidences, on April 20th, 2025, we got what? We got resurrection on April 20th and the last day of Passover. Passover ends on April 20th. Resurrection is Easter Sunday is April 20th. What this all means, we're all going to find out, but I'm showing you the prophecies on how everything is right now fitting like a glove. We've got the 70 to 100 day prophecy. Silver is ready to explode. Gold is on new all-time highs. Kim Clement is saying, watch the gold. So I really, I appreciate us doing these podcasts over the past few years. Everybody who's listened to us at least is in a nice position, but I truly believe in my heart we haven't even seen anything yet. This thing's about to get crazy. We are days away. So I don't know, what's going to happen here the next few days, but everything's about to be unleashed. And the financial look at what Trump is doing. Look at the news right now. Something is afoot. Something's about to happen. And actually, Trump is calling, I don't know if you heard about this, Pastor Dave, but he called Liberation Day April 2nd. I don't know if you know that, but he actually announced liberation. What does all that mean as well, too, right? So this is getting very interesting.
Well, the speculation, it's just speculation, we have to see from a couple sources, is it is tied to silver, and it could be tied to crypto and the new system. So I don't know. We don't want to put our hope in days, but it's more than just tariff day, that's for sure.
And we've got a lot more reasons than the tariff to own gold and silver. We really do. It's like that's great that for people that have been stacking it for years, it's going to obviously, you could be positioned really great. But making money with our gold and silver is a secondary goal. The primary goal is to preserve the capital that we've worked our whole lives to save for. But it's like, you look at, we've got wars going on in the world that affect us here. Silver is consumed when it's being used in industry. So, for example, when solar panels have silver in it, but that silver is turned into like a paste that's in between folds of aluminum, and it costs more than the value of the silver to try to recycle it out of there. So I've heard that, I think it might have been Bo that actually had said it, but silver would have to be about $125 to $250 an ounce for us to be at the point where it would make sense or that it would be profitable to recycle silver out of industrial type items like solar panels. So silver is being consumed every day that we wake up. There's likely less silver available to invest in, the physical silver, than there was the day before. So it just seems like a no-brainer, and the list of reasons to own it is just so long. It just seems like every couple of months we have a new big reason to own precious metals. So for me, I'd rather have this than just about anything else out there. Gold and silver is definitely where it's at.
Financially, gold and silver are one specific thing. They're an insurance policy against your financial position. People have bank accounts and they don't have insurance on their bank account. And then others might have stocks, say, silver stocks or SLV, GLD, and they think they're involved in precious metals, so they think they have insurance, but all you have is a paper representation of silver. All you have is a paper representation of gold, okay? So unless you're physically holding the gold, either in your hand, stored in your home somewhere, stored in a private vault somewhere, stored in a third-party facility somewhere, but not in a bank, because you don't have the key to the front door, okay? But as long as you have storage somewhere, and again, like I think what Andrew wants to make a reference to, again, storage. You don't want to keep, if you got something buried in your backyard, actually it's probably safer buried in your backyard than having it in your home sometimes, because if, it's like people don't even know what's there. But what I'm trying to say is never have everything, all your eggs in one basket. So you want to diversify, you want to spread things out in terms of, how you want to keep things. But ultimately, the financial system, if you don't have gold or silver, the real stuff, the stuff that's you hold in your hand, that you could hold in your hand if you wanted to, you can go to your storage facility. They can say, hey, that's your silver over there. They have your serial numbers on it. You can hold it in your hand, and you have an insurance policy on your digits in your bank. When Babylon falls, like Pastor Dave says, the world's going to go digital. We're going to have something in gold and silver backed digitally with crypto. All this is going to happen, but it's never going to happen in Babylon because they want to keep the Federal Reserve System up and running. And they also want to keep, and what is the Federal Reserve System? The U.S. dollar, the Federal Reserve note, okay? And I think as Julie Green had a prophecy, or a few other people have had prophecies, even Amanda Grace, but this is all specifically about the collapse of the Federal Reserve System. When the Federal Reserve System goes down, it's the breaking of the U.S. dollar. I believe it's going to happen at Passover. The U.S. dollar, I believe, is going to crash. I've got to show me the cycle pattern. There's a huge probability we're going to see a U.S. dollar, Federal Reserve note, collapse, crash. Doesn't mean going to zero. It's just going to plunge in value, and the world's going to realize the system is a fraud. And that's when gold and silver are going to explode in value to even greater numbers. Why? Because everyone's going to want insurance. But the problem is people are going to call up Andrew or a different gold dealer and they say, hey, this is crazy what's going on in the financial sector. I want to get some gold and silver. And Andrew may have very little to maybe nothing, or all the gold dealers, not even Andrew, all the gold dealers across the United States and probably the world will have very little to nothing to sell you, because that's why it's called precious, because other people already jumped the gun and have already bought it all up. So I'm telling, when this event goes down, you don't want to be sitting there, let's just see, I've just shown you, we've been right since November of 2022. And I don't want the glory for being right. I just want to tell you that we know what we're talking about. We're not pointing you in the wrong direction, okay? Silver is up over almost 90% with gold, okay? So All I can say is neither Andrew, Pastor Dave, or myself steered you in the wrong direction. We've all steered you in the right direction, but you ain't seen anything yet from a biblical perspective. And biblically, Andrew, Pastor Dave can confirm when the fraud is exposed, meaning that what they've been doing, you must pay damages immediately. And damages biblically are sevenfold. God will multiply, cause the multiplication of precious metals sevenfold. And if you run a $20, like we showed you, $18, let's say run a $20 base on silver from the bottom, you multiply it by 7, that's $140 per ounce on silver. I'm not pulling that out of a rabbit hat. I'm simply doing biblical math calculations. And if you got silver at over $100 and then blessings are 30, 60, you're talking $500-600 on silver, probably this year, maybe next year, whenever the numbers happen. I'm telling you, these numbers are coming, and people will be, don't be surprised, ripping solar panels off of roofs at $600 an ounce. Because you won't be able to buy silver and gold from the dealers, and they know the solar panels have got silver in them, and it's $600 an ounce. It's definitely worth it. So the world's about to get crazy here, and so I just hope people, I've shown you the charts. We've been pointing you in the right direction. We don't tell you what to do. We tell you what we personally have been doing, and we give you a way of doing it through Andrew. We have been correct since November of 2022, and the excitement is only about to begin. Pastor Dave, talk about blessings. What are some of the prophetic voices telling you about the finances?
Speaking of that, I had a prophetic voice. I can't remember if he said this privately or publicly, so I won't say the name, but he told me yesterday or the day before, he sees it going to 1,000 silver, 1,000 an ounce.
In the last 4 years, from people that we've met just through the ministries that include you, Pastor Dave, and you, Bo, and other friends of ours, like over 5,000 clients that we've helped protect their retirement accounts from anything else that could happen there in the market. And I think that we are in for wild times in the stock market, and certainly there's a reason that the Epstein names haven't come out yet when they already should have. So I would definitely brace for something that's not good for the traditional investments.
In closing, have you both heard about March 31st being Silver Squeeze Day, where there's a call to buy at least 1 ounce of silver to break the banks once and for all? Have you heard that?
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that on Twitter or X just the other day, and I find it interesting because all the charts that I look at are pointing to, like, what did we say? March 31, April 1, something's afoot here. We're supposed to see, there's a very high probability we could see a very powerful move to the upside, and that date is very interesting. That's what I'm trying to tell people. The time is so limited right now. Something's about to go down here, and very interesting time point, March 31. 70 days is then April 1. And then the other thing I want to finish on here is just Joel 2:31. And it talks about it says there will be a blood moon. There will be the sun turn to dark. Well, March 29th, this Saturday, the sun turns dark. There's an eclipse. On the 13th of March, there was a blood moon on Purim. And it says these two things happened before the great and terrible day of the Lord. The charts are pointing to that we're going to see a potential collapse on the U.S. dollar on Passover, which is right in April, which is between the 70th and 100th day. So everybody who's listened to us, who's bought precious metals, you're all doing great, and I believe it's only going to get more exciting. So Pastor Dave, Andrew, thank you, all for us all for being here.
Yeah, just buckle up and pray. We're coming to a climax. It'll be interesting times, but remember, light wins always.